ADHD Rewired, episode number 29. This is the show designed to help those of us who have really good intentions and a slightly wandering attention. Whether you have ADHD and you want to learn more about it, or you are looking for ways to organize your time, your things, or the many details of life so you can get more done, this show is for you. My name is Eric Tivers. I'm a licensed clinical social worker, coach, and consultant. And yes, I have ADHD. We know that starting can be the hardest part. So let's get started. Today's episode is brought to you by Audible.com. Go to audibletrial.com/ADHD Rewired for your free audiobook download. What's going on, ADHD Rewired community? Eric Tivers here. I want to just give you a quick intro to what to expect from today's episode. Today I talk with Paige Sharma, who is just someone that I met online in an online forum, and she shares a really powerful story with us. So what you're going to hear is I'm going to actually read a letter a little bit later in the episode of something that she wrote to someone that had a significant impact on her life. Paige also shares with us some of the challenges related to reading with ADHD and some of the other issues that she's had, as well as she's described what it was like for her going through the process of getting her diagnosis. So this episode is a little bit on the longer side, and it is not one of our lighter episodes. So I think it's a great, genuine, authentic story, and I just want to thank Paige so much for her willingness to share her story with us. I think it's really powerful, and I think the more that we share stories like this with the community, I think the more that it decreases stigma, because we all have experiences like this, just we're not all talking about them. So, without any further ado, here is the episode. I am here with Paige Sharma, and you probably don't know Paige unless you're a family or friend, because I just came across Paige on the Facebook, within a Facebook community that was related to ADHD, and the reason I'm bringing her on the show today was because of something she wrote. Paige, thanks for agreeing to come on.
Thank you for having me.
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, you did share with me that you were a little bit nervous, and I told you that you are talking with your tribe right here, and that I think I said you are going to love Paige. And, you know, it's not often that I will take action to reach out to someone, want to get on the phone with them because of something I saw them write on Facebook. So what I'm sharing with you is something that it really just struck a chord with me. And it was just a letter that she wrote, kind of an open letter on Facebook that was intended to reach someone from her past. Now, do you want me to read what you wrote? We can kind of do this a number of ways. We can, well, before we go into that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, one who is 18 and graduated, a 16-year-old who's starting college classes, and an 8-year-old, and all 3 of them are shiny, so that makes things fun.
So they all have ADHD.
Yes, sorry. Special word.
Yeah, it's funny because some people have never heard that it's I think it's something that maybe is unique slightly to Facebook, that people refer to those with ADHD as being shiny.
Yes, it is, and it's a new word to me, but I've grown to love it. So I use it all the time and forget that others might not know what I'm talking about. I studied geology at the University of Washington, which is my passion. I'm almost finished. Almost.
How long have you been a student for?
So I'm talking to my tribe. This has taken me 5.5 years so far. I have one more class to go.
Nice. You're almost there. Keep it up.
Almost.
It took me 5 years.
I listened to that and I like that. It's good.
Keep moving forward. Even if it's just one class at a time, as long as you keep moving in the direction that you're trying to go, you'll get there. Okay, so you're a mom. You're almost a student, almost a college graduate. What else?
I like to create things and make things. I'm very handy with.
Like what?
I made a mantle for my fireplace.
Whoa.
And it's something I really like.
That's cool.
I like photography. I do a lot of photography.
So now you have ADHD.
Right.
And very recently diagnosed?
Pretty recently, about 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago.
Okay. And how did you come to that diagnosis?
Well, my son was diagnosed when he was 5.
Okay.
So it's many years ago, and he was pretty hyperactive, very impulsive, very interesting. But years later, I was back in school and starting to struggle with math and physics and studying and reading. And a friend of mine had just been diagnosed, and I was talking to her about my struggles. And she goes, "I think you have ADHD." And I'm like, "You're kidding me. I'm not like my son. There's no way." Mm-hmm. But then I started reading, and I came across this 4-page web pages, like 4 pages long of symptoms and, things that they do, that we do. Mm-hmm. And it was like reading something that was written about me.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
I think that's a pretty common experience when that discovery is made. And that story is so interesting because it's very similar to how I discovered I had ADHD. I was talking with a friend who told me that she was diagnosed with ADHD, and here's kind of what it is, and what she was describing just sounded so much like me. Mm-hmm. So it's about 3 years ago, and you looked it up online, and then what?
And then it was kind of a long road after that. I was pretty convinced I had it. And I didn't have health insurance. So that's a struggle. Mm-hmm. And I went to one of these sliding scale places, and there's not much records from my childhood. I couldn't, my elementary school didn't keep my grades or the comments, and a lot of my family has passed away. Mm. And the ones that remain didn't see me that way. And I think part of the recollection had to do with the stereotypes of ADHD. I was not, the hyper little boy that a lot of people think of.
Right.
And so that psychologist told me that he thought I was traumatized from a bad childhood. But, so were a lot of people. And I didn't see that, I didn't want to take that as it, because it didn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So I decided to get a second opinion, and I went to a psychologist that was trained in and specialized in adult ADHD.
Good for you.
So, it was very expensive, but worth every penny of it. And voila, I have ADHD without a doubt.
Let me ask you this. How did you know, because one of the things that I was just talking with someone else today about this, that there are a lot of, mental health professionals who have websites that say that they specialize in ADHD and OCD and depression and PTSD and anxiety and like 10, 15 different things. And it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't think that anyone can really specialize in that many things. How did you know when you were in his office that this guy gets it?
I was talking to him I was frustrated. I was in the waiting room for, I think, the second time I saw him. Mm-hmm. And there was another lady, and she was in her purse and making all these noises and chewing gum. And I could hear her chewing this gum. so loudly, and it was just driving me nuts. And I had mentioned that when I went in to talk to him, because of course it's fresh on my mind. And he laughed, and he didn't look at me like, you're weird. He looked at me like, I totally get it. And I think that's when I really knew.
Mm-hmm.
But he just seemed to know.
Yeah.
He just seemed to know what I meant and what I was saying. So I think nothing specific. I just think his reaction to me is what proved it to me.
Okay. And I think that's great information for our listeners too. Because, it's hard to know what's what when you are a consumer of mental health services. Someone could say they specialize in this or that, but how do you really know, what their specialty is, what their training is, if it's actually in alignment with evidence-based treatments, or is this just their kind of thing that they do? Right.
Well, I think part of it is the psychologist or the psychiatrist, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
He tested me with a bunch of different tests, and
mm-hmm.
he talked about a bunch of different things. It was very in depth. Where the first person I went to, the psychologist, he didn't go into depth. He offered no tests. He just wanted school records, and he talked to my cousin, and that's it. And it wasn't repeated. It was a one-time
mm-hmm.
thing, and then I dropped off and gave information. So I don't think he took the time to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've got off track.
It's okay. I think my mind actually wandered for a moment. It's really fun. So right now I'm looking at, I have my Evernote pulled up, and I have it in the presentation mode, which makes it so it's the only thing you see on the screen. It's like in full screen. Mm-hmm. And when it's in presentation mode, the cursor turns into this really cool, like blue, like almost like this like comet where it has this like tail on it. And yeah. I'm just sitting here just like kind of putting my mouse pad in a circle and just kind of watching it. And I'm listening to what you're saying. And then I realized I'm really more just watching this mouse thing go round and round. And this is only for a moment though. So, okay. So we were talking about the diagnostic process and you finding that diagnosis and kind of figuring out that the first person you went to seemed to not really get it. You got a second opinion, mm-hmm. and he seemed to kind of just get it. So that was about 3 years ago, you said?
3 or 4.
Okay. And so from what's been your kind of story from then till now?
I went to, remember I said my friend talked to me about it in the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
I went to her doctor. Again, without insurance, so very, very costly. But this doctor is the best doctor I had ever seen, and he could understand what I meant when I didn't have the words to say it, which was pretty amazing. First time that had ever happened. And he started me on Wellbutrin and Adderall.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't take the Wellbutrin for, I think I only took it for 6 months to a year, and then just the Adderall. And it was kind of amazing.
Yeah. How so?
My thoughts slowed down,
mm-hmm.
so I could actually think. Like, I could follow through with one train of thought. Which helped me be a lot more productive. It helped me with school. It helped me with tests. Also, because now I have ADHD, I was able to get extra help in school, which was fabulous. And I started doing better.
Great. And I know you can't see me, but I'm sitting here with a big smile on my face, just kind of nodding my head of, yes, these slowing down of the thoughts so you don't have these 50 thoughts kind of running through your mind all at once. And the one that you're trying to use doesn't get lost because you have 49 other thoughts during that time. Right. Yeah. Oh, I relate with that so much. And that is something that medication has helped me with as well, is slowing all the other thoughts down and allowing me to, it kind of turns the volume down on all those other unrelated thoughts. Yep,
it does. I mean, it doesn't eliminate them. It's not magic.
Right. No, definitely doesn't.
No, but it makes it a lot easier to, like reading. If I've got all those thoughts going on, I can't read. I can read, and I can read a lot. And it's like there's this curtain in my mind that will close, and I'm reading in the front part, but all the other stuff is going on the back, and I'm in the back with the party, and I'll read it all, but I will have no idea what I read.
Yeah, this year at the Adult ADHD conference, at the ADA conference, Thomas Brown, who recently wrote a book called Smart But Stuck, he was one of the keynote presentations at the ADA conference. And part of his talk, he was talking about how we're not really talking enough about reading in adults with ADHD. And it's such an important area, and it's an area that so many of us struggle in. What you just described used to be how I used to always read, where I would be reading, and within half a page, maybe, something I was reading would trigger that thought, and then that thought would trigger another thought. Now I'm still reading, but I'm not thinking about what I'm reading. So I get through, pages or a paragraph or a chapter, and I have no idea what I just read. So do I say, oh, I should go back and reread? No.
Well, when you have to, you do.
Yeah, that's the thing too. It's like, so when I started taking medication in college, it was like, oh my gosh, I remember what I just read. This is awesome. I like reading. So it's yeah.
I like reading. And another thing it did was, if there are outside distractions, I have kids, so I can have a thought and I'm hanging on to it, and if they come up, the thought just poofs. Anything I'm reading, it's gone.
Yeah.
But another thing is rereading every sentence over and over again, because you just can't hang on to it. I remember doing that sentence by sentence, and that's also a struggle. It's kind of different, but the same.
Yeah, I mean that's the working memory, that ability to capture information and then hold on to it for use. So if it's remembering the last sentence you read, so you can make sense of the next sentence you read, or if you're reading something or in the middle of doing something and you get an interruption, being able to hold on to what you were just doing while you attend to the interruption and then go back. I mean, I think, Paige, what you just described, I think so many of our listeners are going to resonate with. And really, I can almost like see them all just nodding their head, saying, "Oh my God, yeah, that describes me too." So yeah, I just think I think the more that we share these stories, and that's really what ADHD Rewired is really trying to be about, is really sharing the science-based information in story. Because I can talk about the prefrontal cortex and the, and our working memory and our executive functions, and and half of my audience would probably go. Yeah. So I think that we make sense through things through story. So I appreciate that you sharing those kinds of things with all of us. So what I want to really do is talk about why I actually reached out to you, and that was a letter that you wrote on Facebook. Now, I know we had talked about this about 15 minutes before, and I forgot what we decided. Did you want to read the letter, or did you want me to read the letter?
I would love it if you read the letter.
Okay. All right. Here's what she wrote, and we did. We changed some names just because that's what she was comfortable with doing. Does the letter need any preface?
The girl I wrote it to, and you can infer this through the letter, but her mother had committed suicide. I think that's what you should know before the letter is read.
Okay. All right, here is what the letter says. Hi, Megan. You probably don't remember me, but we went to school together. I was Paige Northrup back then. There's something I want to tell you. It's about what happened to your mom, you, and how it saved me. I am sorry for hitting you with this out of left field. I think that's how the saying goes, and I'm sorry if talking about this makes you sad or brings you pain. I don't know much of what I remember is true, something my mind made up over these past 30 years. We were in 3rd grade together. I remember the day when Mrs. Keegan told us what happened to your mom. I remember you. Your sadness. How much you changed. We weren't really friends, but I saw you. I wanted to reach out, and I didn't know how. I've battled depression for most of my adult life. I've had those thoughts. I've come close to ending that battle. But each time, the last time wasn't very long ago, when I get up to the point where I just don't want to be here anymore, I see your face. Literally, your face pops up in my mind out of nowhere. Then I remember and think of my kids. I don't want them to feel what you felt. Or maybe I should say what I imagine you felt. I'm not good with words, so I hope this makes sense. I'm not free from that darkness. I don't know if I will ever be totally free from it. You saved my life more than once. I'm terrified to send this to you. After all, I sound like a whack job, but something is pushing me to hit send. I truly hope life has been good to you, and I understand if you don't reply. All the best. Paige. How was that listening to that?
I made me cry.
I thought I heard that.
It's different hearing it from somebody else.
Yeah. There was just, even as I was reading it, I had just kind of chills going through my body. I think that a lot of us have been have had those moments, those dark moments. And I think a lot of us can relate to that. And I think, one, just the courage that it took to send this letter to this person who you haven't talked to, who you've wanted to talk to for years and years. I commend you so much for it. I think it just took so much courage. When he posted this in the one of the Facebook groups that you're in, and just the outpouring of support was, that was almost as moving as your letter.
It moved me quite a bit because I didn't see it as being courageous or anything like that. So it was, I guess, moving to know that what I said affected others. I think that's the right word.
Yeah. Well, why do you think that it affected others in such a way that it did? And I'm sure that it's affecting people listening to this right now. You and I we've been talking a little bit about this over the last week or so. And I think we're both affected by, you by hearing it, me by reading it, and talking with you while I read this and hearing your response to it.
Oh, why it moves people?
Yeah.
I think because a lot of us, ADHD people, or lovingly shiny, as I put it before, we struggle. We struggle a lot, and I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
And I think, it's hard to keep going, and especially for those who were adults, or maybe those who don't even know yet that they have it. They don't understand why they struggle so much, and I think that plays a part of it.
Mm-hmm. Was there a catalyst for you that really drove you to? Because you said you've been thinking about this for years and years. Do you have any idea what it was that really just kind of, where you sat down and just wrote this and sent it?
I think it's just repeatedly. I've struggled with this since my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's repetitive. It's not constant, but it go through periods where it comes back, and every single time she's there, and so I've thought about her a lot, and I don't know. I wanted to tell her.
Have you heard back from her?
I haven't. Last I checked, she has still not read it. And that's okay. So maybe sending it was more for me.
So tell me about that. Tell us about that. So you sent it, and how did it feel when you hit send? The best way to describe it was I was nauseous. Afraid of her reaction, and just being so open, because I'm pretty closed. So for me to be so open about something so private, that was pretty hard. Yeah, it had to have been. And so that was the immediate response. And what about now? It's only been, what, a week or two?
Right. I think about 2 weeks. Or maybe a week and a half.
Yeah.
Feel a little lighter.
Yeah?
Especially with the response I got from that group and to that letter.
So do you remember some of the things that people were saying in response?
No, just that, it touched them. Some said it made them cry. Others said, it took a lot of courage. It was the general repetitive thing. But there was over 100 comments, I think, or about 100. And it's just overwhelming that it could touch so many. And that I could write something that could touch others.
One of the things that I loved in what you wrote is that you said that you're not good with words.
No, I'm not.
I was like, it's almost, in some ways it's sort of laughable, because it's, in some ways it's such a kind of a typical ADHD, kind of discrediting our strengths and what we're doing. Because I think that what you wrote was brilliant and moving and beautiful. And so maybe it's hard for you to write at different times, but you wouldn't know it by reading this.
Thank you. When I write, I will quote, this is quoting my friend, throw up on paper. And then I will sort through it.
Do you say that you will throw up on paper?
I will throw up, and I will throw all of those thoughts, related, unrelated, just down. All of them.
I've never heard that expression, and I think I love it.
It's the best. It's like, don't worry about making sense right now. Don't worry about using the right words right now. Just put all of that down, so you can sift through it. And I did that with this letter, and I sift through it. And, I go through, when I write, and this is for anything, I'll go through it and make sure what I'm saying is getting across. I'm using the right words, and I'm using the right tone, because anything could be misinterpreted and or said wrong. And I wanted it to be clear. So that's what I do.
Yeah, I think it's very clear in here. It's wow. I'm just trying to kind of be present with it. It's like I've read this several times since I first saw it, and just something about reading it with you and talking to you, right now. It's this feeling of like part just like awe for I think the courage that this had. Part, I don't know if envy is the respect, because I think that there are things that I can relate to, including just things that of people in my past that I still occasionally think about. Oh, I wish I could tell this person that thing. Mm-hmm. It's like, what's holding us back?
Fear. I think it's fear.
Yeah. That holds a lot of us back. What will they think?
Mm-hmm. How will it be perceived? How will they, what will they think of me if I say this? And moving past that's kind of a big deal, and it's not easy.
Yeah. See, if we can go back a tiny bit, you were saying that over the past, you said initially it was really hard for you when you hit send, and then you're feeling this lightness. Mm-hmm. So lightness, how?
Because I have thought about her a lot, and I've wanted to tell her, I can't say that I'm grateful to her, because that's not right, because the situation. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I kind of wanted her to know that, somebody saw her and it impacted somebody else, and, that it's helped me, and that maybe she needs to hear that. Maybe I just needed to say it. I'm not sure.
I just think the power of human interaction and relationships. I think that we sometimes take for granted how much of an impact we can have on others. Mm-hmm. So I think it was end of last week or beginning of this week, we talked on the phone first, because I had shared with you that I really wanted to make sure that you were comfortable sharing this, and because I know this is sensitive to talk about. I just thought that it was something that I think needed to be out there. So I just want to thank you for being willing to share this with me and the ADHD Rewired community. It's where I think, I don't know if you could feel it, but you're probably going to be getting this big giant virtual hug from all around, because I just think it's good for you for just taking this step forward, even though it was hard. I really hope you kind of keep me posted regarding if she does contact you. Because she might not, and as you kind of said, that's okay. You did it for yourself. But I just think it's, I don't know. I don't think I'm even hitting the right word as to what it is, but it's just, it moved me enough to take action, to reach out to you, coordinate all of this, it's like in the realm of ADHD, it clearly had an emotional impact on me. That, we think about motivation is a future imagined emotion. Mm-hmm. So it's like when I read this, it just registered with me in such a way. So
you asked how it made me feel lighter. I feel freed. That's the word that just came to me. Feel free. Mm-hmm. Like I let go of something that I've been holding on to for a very long time. It's just, let it go. It's better.
So what would you suggest to the listeners that maybe they have this thing that they've been wanting to do that they're holding on to? And because you just went through this, where you just kind of released this in a sense. What maybe advice or encouragement would you give?
To let it go and to say it, let it out. Because those who you're afraid of judging you or afraid of what they'll think, they don't really matter. What matters is that you do what you need to do to heal yourself. Just let it out. And if you're sad and you're in that place, talk to somebody. Because you are, I'm going to cry again. You are that mother. You know, your life makes a difference on others. So don't forget that. Not sure if I said that right, but
no, you one of the things that both as a person with ADHD and as a host for a podcast, and as a therapist and coach, one of the things that I really do try to practice, and I've gotten a lot better at over the years, is how to really, truly listen. To not think about what am I going to say next. To not think about, how do I want to shape or direct this conversation, even though there is part of that because I'm trying to have a show that has a goal, in it.
Right.
But, it's especially when we're talking about something like this, it's just like, I kind of just throw out my agenda and, just being present. Cause I think that's more important. Letting what you're saying register and, seeing kind of what comes from there. So, allowing some little bit of what maybe you'd call awkward silence.
Right.
But,
well, it's not awkward. It's just collecting.
Yeah.
Recollecting. You
say you're not good with your words. Come on. You're helping me out here.
Oh, it's easier to do that with somebody else.
It is so much easier to give people advice that you really need yourself. It's
yeah.
I was working actually earlier today. I was with one of my clients over Skype, and I was helping him. He moved about half a year ago, and he's been really struggling to finish unpacking. And so, he basically brought me into his home office with all his boxes. And it was so easy for me to kind of guide him on what to do and how to do it because there was no emotional attachment to it. If this was my office and I had all this stuff around me, I'd be pacing back and forth, not having no idea where do I start.
Yeah.
And then I'd probably go on Facebook and, do something else.
Exactly. I understand that. I have a room that is like his office.
I think we all have a room that's like his office. I have so I'm looking around my house recently because I just recently started this online coaching group. We have 13 other people in it, and a lot of people are sharing goals about kind of house projects that are just very overwhelming for them. So I'm looking around my house because I'm also kind of participating in this as well, and really trying to track my goals, and it's pushing me to improve kind of what I'm doing. So I have this really nice picture frame in my dining room. It's one of these it's like a sculpture of a tree, and there's a picture in each tree. And I've had this hanging on my wall for probably close to 2 years to this really nice looking family. I have no idea who this family is because those are the pictures that were in there when I bought the frame. That's
fantastic.
Yeah.
I have a frame on my shelf in my living room that is it's two peacocks. It's an oval frame and two peacocks on either side, and the tails go all the way around. And there is no picture because it just came with a words written on it and a price tag, and it's right there. I'm looking at it right now. Eventually, I'll put a picture in there. So I understand.
It's I had asked you earlier about if you had any favorite books, and so one of them you did say, "You mean I'm not lazy, stupid, or crazy?" And I just love just the title of that name, because it's like things like that it's like we think about it all the time, we see it all the time. It's like, so what about it is, why do I still have those pictures in there? And I think we all have those things.
Yep.
And it's relatable and laughable in so many ways when you begin to understand that, just like the book says, that you're not lazy, stupid, or crazy. Mm-hmm. It's just ADHD. Now, what did you say the other, you said you had two favorite books, the one that I just mentioned. What was the other one that you said?
The Thesaurus.
It still cracks me up. So, why?
Like I said, I throw up on paper, right? You would be surprised that the words you use don't mean what you think they mean. Everyday words. And I was picky. I used the thesaurus before I went to school. But after I went to school, I had this professor, most respected. I just adore him. And he drilled it into our heads to use the right words. And so I really got in the habit of using it, because I didn't want to sound like an idiot. Not to him. I mean, that sounds awful, but, I really respected him, and I wanted to, write well.
Yeah.
And so, I started looking up words, and I still do that. And say I'll mean one thing, but it doesn't fit. The word doesn't quite mean what I want it to say. So I will use the thesaurus to, find another one that means almost the same thing, but slightly different, to find exactly what I want to say. If I could do that as I spoke, it would be fabulous.
I know. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
So,
maybe Google Glass will come with, we'll be able to predict what we're thinking and then offer right in front of our visual field, 3 or 4 different choice words that are going to replace the words that are about to come out of our mouth.
I don't think that'll work. We are too fast.
Okay. So we can dream, right?
Right. I mean, they're coming out before our thoughts, so they could predict our thoughts, but it would still be late.
I think, addition to a thesaurus, which helps us kind of say what we're trying to say in different ways. Quotes also do that. And I did ask you to maybe have a couple quotes that you can share with us. But right before I ask you to do that, I just want to take a quick moment to thank our sponsor. ADHD Rewired community, I know you like to listen and learn, which is why I've teamed up with Audible to provide you with the opportunity for a free audiobook download. Go to audibletrial.com/ADHD Rewired. Again, that's audibletrial.com/ADHD Rewired. You can browse thousands of different books on topics that are of interest to you. It can be related to ADHD, squirrels, or any other topic. Again, that's audibletrial.com/ADHD Rewired for your free audiobook download. Okay, Paige, we are back, and I don't think that Audible has an audio version of the thesaurus. I don't think it'd be very effective.
And type in synonyms for the word in Google. Works quite well.
Yes, or if you're in a Word document, just right-click on that word, and you get an option for synonyms. Yep,
you will.
So you had some quotes that you wanted to share with us, and we do like quotes because I think it really helps. It's almost like a language-based painting that expresses so much in so little words.
I agree. That's a good way to put it.
So go ahead and share with us the quotes that you brought.
The first one It started out with I'm going to school, and I didn't finish high school, and I'm looking at the requirements, the degree requirements, and I'm having a panic attack. And so it was calculus 4 is on this list, and I didn't I didn't even do pre-algebra. So there's this quote that says, "Do not worry about your difficulties in mathematics. I can assure you mine are still greater." And that was from Albert Einstein. And so if, one of the greatest minds of all time can say that his is worse than yours, then you know what? I can do this. And you keep doing it.
Yeah. Okay, and the next.
Next is, great spirits have always encountered violent opposition from mediocre minds. Also from Einstein.
Love that one.
And we are out-of-the-box thinkers, and I think a lot of us can relate to that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the final one, which is was a little bit longer, and so I just want to ask you to say it slowly and pause, because I think it'll have a better effect, and it will make my job of, if I wanted to edit space in between your sentences, a lot easier.
Okay.
Because this is a really good one, so I just want you to pause so it gives people time to really process each part of it.
Right. Okay. Excellence is an art won by training and habituation. We do not act rightly because we have virtue or excellence, but we rather have those because we have acted rightly. We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. From Aristotle.
We are what we repeatedly do.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's so powerful. And I'm going to tell you that I think it wasn't until just now, because I asked you to read that twice to me before we hit record.
Right.
I got it this time. Like it was like I intellectually kind of got it the first 2 times you read it. Mm-hmm. But that time I was like, yes. We are what we repeatedly do.
We are. And it's, you can make anything a habit, which means you can be anything.
Yeah. I mean, there are certain things that might be challenging, but when we set our mind to make changes in our life, and we do it in a very strategic way, there really is, there's not much that's going to hold us back. There is my timer that's keeping us on time. That's my cue that tells me to hurry up. Okay. It's a double-edged sword of loving what you do. Like, to me, this conversation for me has been, and even though it's been very intense in its moments, it's like play. Like, I love it. Like, I can just do it forever.
Yeah.
But we do have other things that we need to do. So what I want to do is turn to the very last part of this podcast. And that's what I call the random question round, which is a part of the show that has nothing to do with ADHD, which then paradoxically has everything to do with ADHD. Mm-hmm. And in a very ADHD fashion, I did not plan for this part. I usually think of a few questions I want to ask beforehand. So let's see how quickly I could think of random things kind of on my feet.
Okay.
Are we ready?
Ready.
I'm kind of closing my eyes and just kind of centering myself here for a moment. And I'm hoping that I didn't ask these questions yet, because part of the thing I wanted to do is not repeat questions. But, if I do, I'm kind of guessing that no one's going to remember.
Probably not.
Okay. Do you remember the first CD you ever bought?
No, I don't.
Okay. What was the first big purchase you ever made when you were a child?
Jelly shoes.
Jelly shoes? What's that?
Jelly shoes. I am an 80s child, and I had gotten $10 from my cousin for my birthday, which I thought was a huge amount of money. And we went to Sears, and we bought these jelly shoes. They're like a gel plastic.
Okay.
kind of shoes.
Okay.
And I love them. And I thought they could float when we went out to the lake, and guess what? They didn't. So I remember buying them. I remember being so happy that I could buy them myself with my own money, and then I remember the sadness of them being gone.
Okay. Do you have a favorite piece of art?
I have many favorites.
Would you rather go see a concert or go to see live theater?
I have never gone to the theater, so I think I would choose that.
Oh. Was there something you would like to see?
Not off the top of my head.
It's okay. These are all off the top of my head, too, so... You can almost hear her thinking of, please go to the next question.
Yes.
Okay. When you go to the zoo, what's your favorite thing to do there?
I like the polar bears. I like to see the polar bears.
Okay.
And meerkats.
And what?
Meerkats.
Meerkats?
Meerkats. They're prairie dogs.
Oh.
I like prairie dogs. And they are fun to watch.
Huh.
Very playful little critters.
I know nothing about that.
Really?
Yeah.
You should definitely check them out next time you go.
Okay. All right. All right, here's a question for you. What's the square root of 9?
3.
Yay! All right.
Not even a pause. Yay! I remember.
And I was half laughing while I was doing it too, because I was like, "Wait, I think that question works." Like, I wasn't actually sure. Can you do a square root of 9?
Yes, square root of 8.
I am also painfully bad at math. Okay, I'm going to do one more. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to. There's one rule to this question, though.
Okay.
You can't look it up.
Oh, okay.
You can't be. Actually, close your eyes.
Okay.
How do you spell paradoxically?
Paradoxi. Say it again.
Paradoxically.
Ically.
Ically? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
You have won the spelling bee.
Yay! I cheated though. My part of my family is deaf, and I don't speak ASL or speak sign ASL very much, but when I was little, I would spell the words with my hands, and I could spell it right with my hands using sign for the alphabet.
Yeah.
Better than I could try and think about it.
You're a kinesthetic learner.
Yep.
That's so cool. That's not cheating.
No, I didn't do the whole
strengths.
thing. I didn't do the whole thing, but I did the first 5 letters with my hand. And it was, I didn't mean to cheat. It just, I do it.
That wasn't cheating. That was not cheating. In fact, if you ever watch like one of those like national spelling bees, you'll see like the kids will actually like, they basically do that. They do these like rhythmic things with their hands.
Yeah.
Who knew?
Who knew?
In 3rd grade, I was the first one out in the spelling bee.
Really?
And if I were to enter again, I would still be the first one out in the spelling bee.
Well, I think I would be too. I'm actually very surprised I spelled that right. Very surprised, actually. Wow.
Congratulations.
Thanks. And hey, you in 3rd grade, you had the guts to go up there.
Oh, I didn't have a choice. It was everybody.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I wouldn't.
I think the word is math, and I just froze.
It's scary.
All right. This has been so much fun. I want to respect the time and attention spans of our listeners, as well as my own. So we're going to wrap this up. before we do, I want to let everyone know that, Paige, you are in the ADHD Rewired Facebook community, so you can, talk to Paige there. Mm-hmm. But if people want to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
You can email me or send me a message on Facebook. I do check my other folders at least once a day. I notice because a lot of people don't. So, yes, either email or Facebook.
Okay, and your email is?
Is my first and last name at Gmail, at PAIGESHARMA, I think.
Paradoxically, she can spell paradoxically, but don't ask her to spell her name.
Nope.
That's fantastic. I will put the link to your email address and all of that in the show notes for this episode. It's Paige Sharma, Paige with an I.
Yes.
And Sharma, SHARMA at Gmail.
Yeah.
Paige, thank you so much. I have immense gratitude for you sharing your story with all of us, with me, and for being a guest on the show. I really do. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for asking me. It's pretty. There's a word that I just can't remember. It's pretty cool.
We will have to look in the thesaurus.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, thank you so much, and we will be in touch.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thanks. You too. Well, ADHD Rewired community, you have just listened to another episode of ADHD Rewired. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode, and I want to thank you for listening, sharing, and to all of you who have left reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. I haven't read your reviews on the show in a while, so here's a recent one from Tracy Reuter, and I hope I'm saying your name right. Tracy says, I love this show. Oh wait, look, a squirrel. This show is perfect for me. Shiny objects, distractions, and more keep me from being at my best, and yet I can totally hyperfocus. This is such a great encouragement to help me tap into my strengths and set myself up to win. Thanks, Eric. Keep it coming. Matt McWilliams says, love it. Just a little bit of awesome, Eric. Keep up the good work. Leave a review, and I might read it on an upcoming show. Do you have a story to share about your ADHD? If you want to be a guest on ADHD Rewired, go to ADHDrewired.com and click the yellow bar that says Be a Guest. Are you looking for a coach that can help you be more productive? Would you like to learn how to integrate apps and technology into your life to help you instead of distract you? You can schedule a free consult to talk with me on the phone or Skype. Go to the homepage at ADHDrewired.com, then click the blue bar to book your free 20-minute consult. I would like to encourage you to not just be a passive listener, but become an active member of our growing online community. Like us on Facebook, but get involved in the community and find accountability partners and take part in my productivity challenges. I respond to most requests in 1 to 2 days. It may take up to a week. Don't forget to check your other inbox because I will ask you some questions before I let you in. You can request to join the Facebook community at ADHDrewired.com, and while you're there, be sure to sign up for my newsletter. The 2014 CHAD International Conference on ADHD is coming to the Chicago area November 13th through the 15th. I will be a speaker there. Take advantage of the early bird registration rate by registering before September 27th. Go to chad.org. That's CHADD.org. Also, if you live in the Northern Illinois area, I would like to invite you to come to the Northern Illinois chapter of CHAD. We meet on the third Monday of every month at 6:45 in Grays Lake, Illinois. Meetings are free and open to the public. Go to the Google and enter CHAD of Northern Illinois. You will find our meetup page and our Facebook page. And just so you know, CHAD has not endorsed me or this podcast, but I had to let you know that because I'm a volunteer with them. If you have any comments, feedback, or suggestions onto what would make ADHD Rewired even better, please contact me through my website, ADHD Rewired. Do you have ideas for show topics, or maybe you'd like to be a guest on the show? Go to ADHDrewired.com and use the contact form on that page. And to all the members of the ADHD Rewired online coaching group, and to everyone else, keep those to-do lists aligned with your goals. But remember, nobody gets everything done on their to-do list. It's often the case that those undone things were not that important in the first place. Try to focus on the 1 to 2 most important things each day that will move you forward towards the future of your dreams. And remember, failure is feedback. If you allow it, failure can be your greatest teacher. Until next time.